This is what I said. When Phoenix made the trade for Kevin Durant, I thought it was a right move for Phoenix. If I was Brooklyn, I would have not traded Kevin Durant. I probably wouldn't even have traded Kyrie Irving. I would have tried to give it one more shot, especially in the weak Eastern Conference. And I don't like when guys make trade demands with 3 or 4 years left in their deal. I just don't like it. Um, but with that being said, I think the West, I don't buy Denver at all. Listen, Jokic can average a triple double all he wants. He's made one conference final. He got blown off the court by LeBron and AD. I'm not a believer that much in Jokic in Denver. Memphis is a lot of stuff going on in Memphis, and I also think they're young. Everything going on with Dylan Brooks and John Morant. Don't want that team either at this point. I think the West. I thought the Clippers were going to be in it until they signed the disaster, in my opinion, known as Russell Westbrook. I think that they are now out of it. So because of that, I think the West comes down to health, and I think it comes down between two teams. I think it comes down to Phoenix if they stay healthy, but do not absolutely count out Golden State.
I agree. Golden State is going to be there no matter what. They have that championship pedigree, as we've seen for many years. I'll never count them out anymore. Even though when they first won the first championship, I always said a jump shooting team wasn't gonna win a championship, and they proved me wrong. So I'll never count out Golden State, and they went on many battles with Cleveland, of course. So we've seen them up and close and personal. But uh, going back to Phoenix, I think the key is Chris Paul. If Chris Paul stays healthy and can keep that um team afloat with all the assist, ball movement, all that, they'll make the finals. But if if Chris Paul gets hurt, then I feel like that team is gonna derail a little bit.
Do you agree with me on Denver?
I agree with you on Denver. I feel like you can let Jokic go off, but if none of the other players are hit it, then they're one dimensional.
Yeah, I mean, again, Jokic is great. He's a two-time MVP, probably going to win his third. This is the year he probably should legitimately win it. I didn't think he should have won it the last 2 years. I thought last year definitely should have went to Joel Embiid. The year before that should have probably went to Giannis. I think LeBron got robbed of two MVPs in Cleveland. I'm not an MVP award guy. I think the MVP is more of a narrative driven story. I think it's ridiculous. I think the media falls in love with great players, like a Russell Westbrook, like a James Harden, that are all stats and they don't do well in the postseason. I think it's going to be an embarrassment because if Denver gets the wrong matchup, I mean, if they get a Lakers team with a healthy LeBron and AD, we'll see if LeBron comes back and if they make it in. But if you get a Lakers team, or if you get even a Clippers team in round one, if Denver goes home, that's gonna be a bad look for the NBA, in my opinion.
Let me ask you a question about Denver. Can you win a championship with the best player on your team being a big man?
That's a great question. I think you can. Um, but to be honest with you, I think Joel Embiid is more skilled than Jokic. I mean, I don't understand Jokic. I've been telling people this. He can't jump. How do you score 30, 15, and 15 a night and can't jump? I mean, I don't get it. I watched Evan Mobley jump over him 3 or 4 times, and the Cavs played Denver last week. It looked like a no contest, and yet he still got 30 and whatever. Um, I think you can if you have the right pieces around him. I think Philly could have won the championship a couple years ago. If it wasn't for Kawhi Leonard hitting that shot that went ring around the rosy and inside the basket when he was in Toronto, I
Right.
I thought that was Philly's best team, and I thought that they were actually the best team in the East that year. Milwaukee, their best man is technically a big man in Giannis. And I wasn't a big believer in Giannis either until he won that championship against Phoenix because I need to see it. I've seen way too many superstars / stars melt down in big moments. It's why I'm not a big believer Larador in Boston this year because I don't trust Jason Tatum either.
Wow.
I don't.
Wow.
What has Tatum done? Show me what Jason Tatum has done in the moment, in the game, on the stage. Because all I saw last year in 6 games against Golden State was the best player for Boston in that series by far was Jaylen Brown.
So do you like Jaylen Brown over Tatum?
I like Jaylen Brown over Tatum because I think Jaylen Brown has legit dog in him. I don't think Jason Tatum has dog in him when it is time to rise up in the spotlight in the moment. I have always believed this. There's a big difference between the first round of the playoffs, the second round of the playoffs, the third round of the playoffs, and the finals. The finals is the stage. I don't care if you do well in 3 rounds of the playoffs. If you stink in the finals, I want you off my team because you're not ready to compete in the stage, in the moment, to take the ring against the best team on the other side.
It froze, so I didn't know.
Okay, well, did you hear what I said about the team in the moment? I don't want Tatum on, I need Tatum to come back. I need him to do a great job on the finals in the stage in the moment. I don't trust him at all, which is why I think Milwaukee makes it out of the East this year.
I I like Milwaukee because Giannis. Who's gonna stop Giannis? Honestly,
I think Philly could. I actually think the Cavs have legit bodies to stop Giannis. The problem is the Cavs are inconsistent, and they don't have a good bench at all. They're one of the most frustrating teams to watch in the NBA.
oh my God,
I
you're not lying.
I don't. Is it just me? Like, I don't like the Cavs this year. Even though they had a worse record last year, I thought they were a better watch last year. I love Donovan Mitchell, but I don't understand the rest of this team. I love Mobley, I love Jared Allen, I love Garland. Obviously, they don't have a wing at all. They barely addressed it at the deadline. And they don't have a bench at all, and they play down to their competition. Eh, they're badly coached. They're just not a great team. I don't think they're a good team. I think if they get the right matchup, maybe against the Knicks, they could win a series. But to me, this team is disappointing as where they should be right now.
Thank you. I feel like no shooting is holding this team back a bunch. If we had shooting, we can hang with anybody. But our shooting is so inconsistent. And I agree with you on the Cavs. Um, I think we can only beat the Knicks. Any other team, I don't even know if we can win a series. The Knicks are the only team that I'm confident we can beat in a 7 game series.
I mean, Miami, I don't know. Do we even win? I mean, do we win 1 game? Maybe 2? Like, I just feel like Miami's just so much better coach. I'm not the biggest JB fan either. His rotations, his constant yelling, which I don't get it. He yells at everything. I'm like, dude, the dude fouled him. Like, shut up. Like, he this team annoys the hell out of me, man. Like I try to love this team and they just do something stupid to annoy me.
I feel like if you give JB a better bench, he'll be a better coach. He's very limited on the bench. So I feel like his rotations are all over the place because he
See,
doesn't.
but that's his fault to me because you have guys like Robin Lopez and he for some reason refuses to play. Jetty Osmond. Oh, we're down by 20 against Boston. Here's an idea. Let's put Jetty in to start an off. To start an offense. Excuse me. Dean Wade, I think, is a pretty good player, even though he's undrafted. I think he's done good for the league. He's in and out. Lamar Stevens, he doesn't trust at all. It seems like he plays really well, never plays him again. That's a coaching thing to me.
I I don't understand the Jetty Osman not getting more minutes because I feel like Jetty brings a spark when it's needed most. Yes, he's
It depends on
inconsistent.
the game.
Yeah, like you said, it depends on the game. And yes, he's inconsistent, but I feel like he brings energy no matter what, and Cleveland can feed off that.
What's crazy too is sometimes I like Karis LeVert and sometimes I hate him.
Oh
Uh,
my God.
he's a ball hog, man. Like I'm watching him and I'm going, guys are wide open in the corner. Why aren't you passing the ball? Like him, Okoro, Jetty, they all drive me nuts.
You know what's crazy? When when uh when we traded for Karras, I was so hyped. You know me, I was excited because I,
Yeah.
I thought I thought he was gonna be way better, but he pisses me off so much. I
Oh
thought
my
he was gonna
god.
be more consistent,
I know.
and it feels like with Karras, we'll be like down by like three or something, and we need a three, and he'll be wide open, and he'll just hit the backboard and no rim, and you're like, what the hell?
You
We
know
need.
what? I was out on Karis LeVert after watching on the playing tournament last year. He had the worst 2 games I've ever seen a Cavs player play in a 2 game stretch in my life. Dribbling the ball off his foot, literally every time he touched it, there he goes. I was like, get this bum off the goddamn team.
Yeah, I agree with you. So going back to JB, what's your take on JB? Do you
JB's a
get?
clown. I'm just gonna be honest. JB, I try to like him, but he reminds me of a coach that's like really good for a young team, but isn't a playoff caliber coach. It feels like the Cavs just need a new voice in the room. I don't get this mindset. We're a defensive minded team. That's great. We can't shoot. How are you going to win a basketball game? It's 2023. We have maybe 2 or 3 guys on this team that can legitimately shoot. Garland, Mitchell, and throw Levert in there. Mobley's okay, and Allen's okay. You can make a stretch for 5. Dean Wade, maybe you could throw in 6. Don't trust Okoro. He's inconsistent. Levert, too, obviously. Osman. We don't have a backup big, which I don't like at all. We do technically. His name's Robin Lopez. Never play him, as I mentioned. Um, there was something off with this team ever since they went on that 8 game winning streak to start the year. Ever since that 8 game win streak, they have not been the same, in my opinion, all season long.
So do you give JB a series, or no matter what the Cavs
Yeah.
do it
I mean,
Cavs do,
I'm
you
giving
get rid of
JB the
him?
benefit of the doubt, but I think if you get beat bad in the first round, you make a change. Depending on what's out there, I think you need a young, offensive minded. We just talked about in football. I think you need a Boston type. I forget the name of their new coach, but a young offensive assistant that can just go in there. We've seen Boston go from Yume Adoga to this new coach seamlessly. Why? See, I can't even talk about the Cavs. Oh, they're so frustrating. Like tonight, they're playing Detroit. I just put a $5 wager. They should cover the 15.5 point spread because Detroit stinks. Will they? We'll see.
And I agree. I agree with you on the Cavs, and I feel like they're gonna. Our fan base is bipolar with the Cavs as well as they are with the Browns, and I see why. And you're proving it.
So
But going back to the head coach right quick, would you give Ime Udoka a call?
just because of his recent past, probably not. I need to find out more about the allegations that were against him. I think he's a good coach, but I think it's fair to say we don't really know what's happening in that situation.
Ugh, I don't know, man. I wanted to like JB, but and now I'm a writer for JB, and I've been on Twitter like arguing with people about JB and the rotations and no shooting and all that. But now that you're putting it in that perspective, like I can see your point now. It's like maybe JB isn't the guy.